Are you getting a sinking feeling? Okay, so when it comes to sinking funds, we set up a sinking fund to replace an asset at the end of its useful life. Okay, so scenario we spoke about in the last video. So our scenario here is come on. Are we rocking it there? Okay, so our scenario here, and I'm gonna get big, bad, and ugly out. So our scenario is, as we said in the last one, we buy, in this case, it's gonna be a truck. So let's stick with this story, and then we'll fill in the details of this particular one. But here's the story: you buy a truck. It's worth whatever it is at the beginning, quite a lot of money. Then, as time goes on, the truck loses its value. So, each year it's worth a whole lot less than it was the previous year. So it's losing its value. In the meantime, in 5 years' time, you want to buy the latest, greatest truck again. So this could be a piece of machinery for, your business, your farm, something. So, but in the meantime, the cost of that thing's going up. So while your truck's losing value, to replace it is going to cost, not the same as what you bought your truck for. So at the end of that time, your new truck's going to cost a whole lot more, and your old truck's going to sell for a whole lot less. So to cover that shortfall, you're going to put in money every single month into a sinking fund, as it's called. So every month you maybe put in 5,000 Rand, and then after 5 years, you sell your old truck for whatever it's worth, and you buy the new truck, and you've already kind of thought about that. You've planned for it. So you don't suddenly find yourself 400,000 Rand short. You've planned for that. And this is, I think, worthwhile. Why I'm spending time on this, thinking through this, because, it's where we don't account for all the right details here. The concept's a good one, that there's money kind of being put aside for these big costs that come up. And all businesses have to deal with this. So they're always putting money aside, and they always have, what seems like a lot of money at their disposal, but not really. Okay, so, well, maybe in some cases. So now that we got our picture, so to think of that overall picture makes all these details feel a bit easier to deal with. So there's a new truck that's going to be replaced in 5 years' time. And the cost of the new truck that we got is 450,000 Rand, and the truck depreciates on a reducing balance basis at 20% per annum. So let's just look at that. So our truck that we're going to sell. So we're going to sell the truck that we've currently got for a certain amount. So let's scroll up and check. We had this idea of a reducing balance depreciation. Makes sense. We'd barely see the other one. So every year the truck loses a certain amount. So let's put that there for reference. Maybe we can put it above my head. So it started, our kind of future value that this is going to be worth is 450,000, and 1 minus 0.2 to the power of 5. So that's what our old truck is going to be worth and what we're going to sell it for. So what do you get for that? Okay, so I'm going to do it on my calculator over here. And we got 450, 1, 2, 3. And that's at 1 minus 0.2 to the power of, not squared, but that's fine, to the power of 5. So 147,456. 147,456 Rand. Kind of a scary idea in some ways that, it's worth a third of what it was 5 years later. 5 years is not that long. Okay, then we're going to want to buy a new truck. So our new truck, let's go for these things in red. So inflation 6.5% per annum. So we need to see how much money, how much is this new truck going to cost. So the new truck, but they're called about the new truck now. So the new truck, we need to see how much is that going to cost. So inflation 6.5%. So A equals 450, 1, 2, 3. 1 plus 0,065 to the power of 5. So that's how much a new truck's going to cost in 5 years' time. And of course, the question is, what do you get for the cost of the new truck? And what's our shortfall? So what's the difference between what we're going to sell our old truck for and how much our new truck costs? Okay, so let's start with 450, 1, 2, 3. Doom 1 plus 0,065 to the power of 5. So 616. Oh, well, I've got on my calculator, but I guess it's there. 616, 538, comma 99, and then it gets rounded off, right, to like 1 up. So we're going to call that 9,00. So that's our new truck. So our difference, so kind of the money that we're going to need, so money needed in 5 years' time, we're going to need this amount minus this amount, right? So I've already got that in the calculator, so I can just go minus 147,456 equals quite a lot of money still, more than the price of the truck right now. 469,083. Okay, so that's how much money we're going to need in 5 years' time. As I said, to me, kind of a scary thought. I don't know, is it a scary or interesting idea that despite the fact that we're going to sell the old truck, we're still going to need more money than the truck costs now in 5 years' time? Okay, well, maybe you're like, oh, that's how money works. Or maybe you're like, oh, wait, that's something. Okay, so let's just check. As I said, there's a lot of text, so I'm kind of working us through to go, let's now join our story again. A company has just bought a new truck that they'll need to replace in 5 years' time. The cost of the new truck was 450,000 Rand. Assume that the truck depreciates on a reducing balance at a rate of 20% per annum. So we used our reducing balance depreciation formula. That's how we started. And it depreciated at 20% per annum. So we just put that in. Nice thing about depreciation is that it's always per annum. So we don't have to worry about, not being 0,2 over 12 and compounding periods. It's always going to be a per annum rate. And inflation remains constant, if only at 6.5% per annum. So our new truck, we're going to see, well, there's 450,000, but it's going to keep growing every year. It will cost a whole lot more in 5 years' time. Given that the company will be able to sell the old truck at its book value at the end of 5 years, in other words, it will sell it at this value, determine how much money as a once-off deposit should be invested into a sinking fund with interest calculated at 13% per annum compounded monthly so that the company can afford a new truck in 5 years' time. Okay, so now we're just left with the last piece of the puzzle. So our last piece of the puzzle, let's go here and orange and say 13% per annum is we're going to put in a one lump sum now. So we need it to grow to this amount. So we've got, we know that A equals P1 plus whatever. So in the future, we're going to need 469,083,00. Whatever we need to put in now, 1 plus, and I think this said 13% compounded monthly, 0,13 over 12, and it's 5 years compounded monthly. How many compounding periods? Well, 60. So now what we're going to do is, you'll think you've done one of these before, you definitely have. You divided both things by that whole bracket over there, because then they cancel nicely. What you do on one side, you do to the other, and that will give your principal amount. So our principal amount, in other words, what do we need to invest now so it grows to the amount of money we need? So the last question for this one is, how much money do you need to invest now? Okay, so you've put something down. I need the harps one last time and say 469. Now, I definitely, when I first did this, used my variables, but then now I don't feel like using all my variables. So I'm just going to do it like this. 0, 13% compounded monthly to the power of 60. So 245,740 rand and 31 cents, and the bank will say you'll be fine in 5 years' time. So when you bought your new truck, 450 plus that's like 250. So it's like 700,000 rand actually is what you've had to pay to make sure that you get another new truck in 5 years' time. And then you'll probably have to invest R1 million. And that's a lot of money. So with that in mind, I think it's time to get that sinking feeling again.
Do you feel like you're sinking?
But what are you thinking about?